Hey, Nick, it's time to really scream this time. Are you ready?
What are you screaming for, Carol?
Not ice cream, but...
Not this time?
No, Billy Loomis.
Are you screaming for
Skeet
the
Ulrich.
seed, girl? Skeet Ulrich? Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. It's your favorite final girl and boy, Emily and Nick. Hey, say hello, Emily.
Hello.
Your favorite final Mike.
Howdy ho.
Yeah, he's there.
They made me watch.
We're coming at you with the episode Gag Me with a Knife. This week, hey, Emily.
It's a weekly podcast where we're going to suggest and bell and shred the best and worst slasher movies.
No, we can get cool with it.
We taking it easy tonight.
I think Mike's kind of
We're
got a
getting
vibe.
smooth.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Sit back, relax,
All right.
hit your vape,
You know.
and we gonna tell you the story of Scream.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Wait. Oh yeah, say the words.
we're going to gag on 1996's Scream. It's not
Say the
80s,
goddamn
but it
words.
is seminal.
Oh, seminal.
I'm going to read the back of the box.
Let's hear it.
A crowd-pleasing smash hit with a sizzling cast. Critics are calling Scream the biggest thriller of the year. After a series of mysterious deaths, a seemingly peaceful community becomes a place where no one is safe and everyone is a suspect. That's when an offbeat group of friends rally to unlock the town's deadly secrets and get caught up in a lively mix of thrills, chills, and surprises. Featuring an all-star featuring all-star talent including Drew Barrymore, Courtney Cox, Nev Campbell, Skeet Ulrich, and David Arquette. This
David
strikingly
Arquette.
original
Knockouts.
and entertaining motion picture delivers non-stop edge-of-your-seat excitement and fun. 1996 or thoughts?
My thoughts?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, dude, I was there.
I wasn't there.
My parents rented it for me the day it came out on rental because I
Dude,
just got
this
my
was
braces
the
on. I
best
think I've told
fucking
this story
thing
before.
ever, man.
Nick,
Like,
did you see it in the theater?
No,
I don't think any. I was in sixth grade. He was in
Blockbuster
fifth
was
grade.
a thing, and like, dude, this was like, yeah, dude, I was in middle school. Like, this
No,
was
you
great.
weren't. You were in fifth grade because I was in sixth grade.
What year did you
I
guys
don't know. I
graduate?
can't remember.
It came out in 96, but I might have been in. No,
was in
I would
eighth
have
or
either
ninth.
been in fifth or sixth
I
grade.
had
so.
traumatic like experiences in school, so I tried to block it out. So Scream was one of those things that I love.
This is one of those things similar to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where
I'm
like
kidding.
my mom and
I
sister,
love Buffy the
my mom
movie
and
Buffy the
sister
Vampire
liked
Slayer.
it, so I looked down upon it from my Texas
Buffy
Chainsaw
the Vampire
Night
Slayer,
of
the
Dead
movie
Hill.
is so good.
I'm just saying, like,
Dude, I was into both of that shit.
it was like a generational thing.
Donald
like, my
Sutherland's
mom's
in that.
a
Paul
generation ahead
Rubens
of
is
me.
in that. Luke
My little
Perry's in
sister's
that.
right
All
under
right.
I don't know, man.
And
Like,
I got missed. I was too hardcore. I was
dude,
like,
like,
I want
even-
to see
I had
Tetsu the Iron
see,
Man.
I had already
Like,
seen that shit too, though.
Yeah.
And I was into it.
I think it's really, really good, and I agree with Emily. She's always talking about it. It's that
I
it
first
did
saw this in
reinvigorate,
2020,
like,
and I wasn't
slashers.
impressed.
So, like, which one came out before it? Was it Wes Craven's New Nightmare, or was it Scream?
Scream. I mean, no, Wes Craven's New Nightmare came out in like '94, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was like, you know,
He
I
did the
think-
meta shit there.
Yeah,
He
and
also didn't write Scream, so Kevin Williamson did the meta shit in this. There's no way that bitch didn't watch. By the way, I think he's a bitch. He's a fucking asshole, and everyone knows
Kevin
it.
Williamson?
Yes, he's like notoriously a huge fucking asshole.
Wes Craven
But
directed Scream,
Wes
right?
If
Craven
you're
did
listening,
not
Kevin,
want to
we're
direct this initially.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't want to direct it because he wanted to. But until some kid like went up to him and was like, like told him he was getting soft or something like that. Like he was like,
You're getting soft, old man.
yeah, and then he was like, "Fine, I'm gonna
Time
do
to hang
it."
it up. Papa.
It's time to hang it up.
Dude, Pappy.
Time to hang it up, Craven.
Yeah.
Get
All
along
right.
with that. Dude.
So why don't
Who
you?
the fuck has the balls to do that to that
Wes
guy?
Craven?
Like that's crazy.
Hey, Pappy Craven, you're getting soft.
I
Well,
gotta
it
say,
worked.
I
and he
have
was like,
no,
"Well, you're right. I am flaccid right now."
I was like, get hard.
That's a different movie.
In front
Yeah,
of me.
that's more of our Catholic movies.
He's like, do you want me to direct a porno?
Get it up or I bite it off.
Why?
Well, that's what Mike does. He's trying to do that. That's why he's eating his own cum.
Oh.
Hey.
We didn't talk about that all
He's
in the
working.
last
He's
movie.
working his
You
way
guys
to get
missed
to
one.
biting his own
I thought
dick.
maybe you'd
Hey,
forgotten.
Katie.
What up?
All right.
Okay, Woody the Woodpecker. Is that,
I guess we need to
is
start.
that who does that? Who does that?
I think it might be Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, get us going with the movie. Like, we don't know what happens.
Okay.
We can. I think we can make this one pretty quick. I think everyone's seen
We'll
this
see.
movie. This is kind of like a, like I said, seminal.
I think this is the best part of the movie. It's the beginning
It
of
is.
the
It's
movie.
the. I think it's the best.
Yeah. And it really-
I think it's the best introduction
like-
to any horror movie of all time.
When
It's
I watched
pretty
it
fucking
and
good.
wasn't that into it, I still liked this part, you know?
Even like the
this
first
shit
time when you
works.
weren't into it, you still like the first. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I think you'd
this
be.
shit works.
I think for anyone to say that the beginning of this movie is shitty, you're just. I mean, you're just being an
Grasping at
asshole.
straws, yeah.
Like you're just being an arrogantly about it. Like, sorry, but that's what
I
it
do
is.
feel like it does have a different tone than the rest of the movie.
It
Maybe
definitely-
at least until the last.
Well, I mean, it's
20,
like a
30
hail
minutes.
to all the old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it gets you started into like all this is like kind of meta in its own way.
Yeah, I mean, and then we get to Billy coming up in the window just like in Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, it's all, yeah.
Word.
Anyway, go ahead.
So, Drew Barrymore's character, Casey,
Casey
she gets
Becker.
like 3 or 4 calls of this creepy dude.
She
She's trying
kinda-
to make some popcorn.
But she kind of
It's
is
not
like...
Yeah,
any
she's playing
popcorn.
along
It's
at
She
first.
Jiffy
plays
Pop.
along. She plays along at first. She doesn't act like she has a boyfriend. She's kind of flirting with the guy on
Yeah,
the
she
phone.
says that Halloween's her favorite and guesses that Nightmare on Elm Street's his favorite. And
He's like, "Is that the one where
she
they
talks
she
shit
has
about the
knives
sequels,
for
which I thought was
fingers?"
bullshit.
Oh yeah, she's like, well,
Oh, because
she
that's a
says
Wes
that because
Craven
Wes
joke.
Craven didn't correct the other ones.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
yeah. He actually didn't want that to stay in there, but then like other people really liked it, so he was like, fine.
So she immediately starts getting freaked out when the guy on the phone is like,
He says, "I want to know who I'm looking
I
at."
want to know who I'm looking at. And
'Cause
she
she
asks him
said-
to repeat himself, and he doesn't say. He's like,
At
I want to
first,
know
if
who
you
I'm
know,
talking to.
and they play
She
it so
says-
well. They
she
play
says,
it so well.
She says, "Why do you want to?" She's like, "Why do you want to know my name?" And he goes, "Because I want to know who I'm looking at." And she's like, "What?" And he goes, "Because then I want to know who I'm talking to." And she's like, "That's not what you said."
Yeah. And
Yeah,
she,
no,
you
it's
hear a
played
dog
really
barking.
well. It's
There's-
played very well.
Yeah.
You hear a dog barking in the distance, like, oh shit. She starts locking the doors. Her popcorn's burning.
Well, it's
and then
not
the
burning
doorbell.
yet.
It's not like
It's
Jiffy
it's,
Pop.
It's,
it's
popping.
smoking, but it's
popping.
not.
It's not any popcorn.
Okay,
man.
yeah, I'm forgetting. There's another progression. I do like the popcorn progression. It's like
We
pop
are sponsored by Jiffy
burning
Pop.
on fire. So the doorbell rings, and
She's getting more and more amped up at this point. Like, I think when the doorbell rings, that's when she first like screams, and then she like answers the phone before like she is about to call 911, and
Yeah.
the phone rings before she can click dial on the old phones, and
well, she starts talking about her boyfriend, and then
because he's
like,
big and he plays football and he kick the shit out of you.
she had turned on the porch light before, but the dude on the phone's like, turn on the patio light, and she sees her
Again.
boyfriend.
No,
there.
he says he
he says again,
turn
so you
on
know
the
he's
patio
actually
light
like,
again.
because he's watching.
Yeah, because Steve's out there, her
And
boyfriend.
Steve is out there. Oh no, he looks pretty beat up. He's got duct tape to the chair. Oh, gets me off of this chair, this girl. So he's like, let's play this game, turn off the light. And Steve's like, don't fucking do this shit.
Yeah, he's like, "Grr, Casey! Grr."
Maybe he's telling her to leave. He asks, okay, so face voice, ask over the phone.
Face voice?
Ghost face voice.
Yeah, the voice on the telephone.
I like shortcuts in my writing.
Well, it's just like the voice. I think
I
that's
have a
what it's.
shorthand.
I think. Well, the guy that did the voice is not either of the killers.
You can
and
tell
so
that at the end,
he's
too.
he's casted as the voice.
So he asked her. He wants to
They were
play a
actually going to
trivia
use one of their
game.
real voices, but then he ended up liking like that was just supposed to be a stand-in voice. But then they ended up liking it so much they kept it for all the movies. He's the voice for all the Scream movies.
So she's gonna play again
Working
like a
job.
trivia game
Yeah, good job.
about horror movies. Who's the killer in Halloween? She goes, it's Michael Myers. Oh,
That was a warm-up round, though.
Who's the killer in Friday the 13th? And she's like, Jason, Jason, Jason. Oh no, it's Mrs. Voorhees.
And she's like, I watched that movie 20 goddamn times. And he's like, then you would know.
Hey, man, it's not Mrs. Pamela.
He was like, then you would know that his mother is the killer.
not married.
Miss Voorhees. You know,
Pamela
he
Belkis.
calls her Mrs. Voorhees. He doesn't call her
He was
Pamela Voorhees.
wrong. Oh, man, that's a wrong murder.
Well,
Yeah, you'd be living. But Steve is disemboweled.
yeah,
then he's like,
she lived through that. Was just
One
for
more
Steve.
bonus round question. Which door am I at? And she is freaking out.
And it is like, at this point, the popcorn is on fire, so her whole house is like smoky and shit.
But,
It's Jiffy Pop.
Ghostface jumps through the glass door, and she goes outside. The popcorn is fucking on fire.
Motherfucker, say it.
Her parents are
Say
coming
it.
home.
Hey, Jiffy Pop.
Jiffy Pop's on fire. Mom and Dad are coming home in the car down the driveway.
They're so close.
He grabs her through the window, stabs her in the chest, and they struggle some more. She's doing all right.
It goes
And
into slow-mo right there, too.
She's been stabbed pretty deep, man. But she's trying to get her mom's attention, but it's like she can't get her breath to really scream. Oh, did I just say scream?
Yeah.
Oops. And
Oh,
so
he did it.
he tackles her.
He gone up and did it.
and she pulls off his mask. And I didn't see a real look of recognition.
It's because she's dying.
There's stabbings. Her parents looking for her. Casey, where you at? And
He says
they can
go down to
hear her.
the. He says go down to the whatever they say in Halloween. When she's like go down to the house, she tells the kids it's the same place
Oh, okay.
that
Well,
he tells her to go to.
she's still on the phone, and her parents can hear her, and he's dragging her. Yeah, and they find her hanging. And then we see
She's like her mom's scream is so terrifying and gut wrenching.
it's
It's
a
just
good
like,
scream.
and then it like the way the camera like, zooms in on her body hanging in the tree is so good.
It's a good shot.
Oh, yeah.
It lasts a little longer in the unedited version too.
So then we see Nev Campbell.
And she's on
Sydney,
MS DOS.
And she's dossing it up. And there's a noise at the window. It's like, oh shit. And it's Skeet Ulrich Billy. He
Ulrich.
scares her.
It's Ulrich.
Lars Ulrich.
No, it's Skeet Ulrich, and that's my.
Is he related to Lars?
I don't know, but I wish he was my boyfriend.
The drummer for Metallica?
And no, he's not.
He's the only other Ulrich I know.
It's pronounced
Dude,
Ulrich.
I will not say Ulrich all the
Okay,
time.
so you can't insult Skeet Ulrich
Don't
by
do that. Don't do that
insulting
to
him
him.
and like, compare him to the bitch that Lars Ulrich is.
Yeah, and
Lars is a
don't
better drummer
don't
than him.
talk about Napster either.
Shit.
That's,
Queen half.
I just dusted you.
She's blasting off a
You and
radio.
Dustin, cuz.
She getting dusted on the duster. Okay.
We got the Wawas.
So Skeet says,
I wish.
the dad
How would you
comes.
even do it with this?
No, don't. No, don't, Emily.
That might be against the law.
No, it totally isn't. Because you can buy it
Don't
and you
do
can
it.
do it.
It'll end up giving you headaches.
Because you can buy it and you can do it, so it's not against the law.
No, absolutely not.
It'll end up giving you
Buy
headaches.
from
I'm
Walmart
telling
and you can do it.
Stay away from that
I got
stuff.
beer from Walmart once and I did it.
That's the devil's air.
No, what? The devil?
Stay
we're
away
not
from the devil's
huffing.
air.
No, I didn't do it.
So Skeet's there. The dad knocks at the
Actually made her
door.
breath worse.
Fuck you. I'm proud of you. For the first time in like 3 days. Thank you very much.
So the dad, he's like, he knocks on the door and is like, I thought I heard a scream. And she's like, no, Daddy, it's okay.
Well, Billy's already come in the room at this
And
point.
yeah, you missed me saying that.
Oh, sorry,
you guys
'cause I
were
was-
talking about
'cause I was spraying
Real
duster.
Housewives.
I
Tough and
wasn't
Duster.
talking about housewives. I was just spraying
I was just
duster.
huffing
You're
duster,
straight
man.
gaffing that dust, girl.
I wasn't talking about the Real Housewives.
Pass that can. Let's go down to Walmart. They're still open. Oh, man. Not my eye, my nostril.
That's pretty fun.
Have you ever sniffed
for
duster,
cats.
man?
Oh, fuck, cuz.
We all fucked up.
Do you think people sniff it, son?
Shut the fuck up.
I don't even know how you do it. I don't know how you do it to get. I don't know you do it to
Spray
get
it in
high.
your goddamn
Don't do it.
lungs.
No.
You gotta
It's like,
hit it like a
That won't
bomb.
work.
Guys,
No, don't fucking do that.
this is my favorite part of Scream Now is us
I'm serious.
Trying
Don't
to get
fucking
Emily
do
not
that.
to huff
Don't-
duster.
Do not fucking
On
do
me.
that. I am serious.
Girl, we on the
I did it
air.
already.
Yeah.
We are on the air right
It
now.
didn't do anything.
You're on the air.
Fucking ever do that.
It's
Like,
the devil's
I'll
air.
do it when you leave if I feel
No,
like
no,
it.
no, no. Alright, get back to it. Don't ever fucking do that.
So, Billy says, okay, so the dad doesn't see Billy. He leaves. Billy
Oh,
comes
he says
out from
he's
behind
going
the
out of
bed.
town.
Yeah,
That's
he
important.
says he's going out of town. And Billy said he saw The Exorcist on TV, and it reminded him. I thought this was kind of cute. It was like the relationship because it went from NC-17 to edited for TV. Guys, stop playing with a goddamn duster.
I'm
the
gonna hide
babysitter
it from
again.
him, man.
I'm taking this duster
hide it.
and I'm setting it
You
over
just put
here.
it-
Get it away.
Y'all, don't make me go get a switch.
Are you gonna make me choose which one?
And if it ain't fat enough, I'm gonna get a goddamn
little
2x4
thin one,
upside your
The
ass.
little
You're
ones
right.
hurt more, don't they?
Alright, I'm sorry.
Okay, so
That's
they
what
start
I was
making
down.
out.
They start making out.
and there's a bad Bluester cult cover. And
I like it.
as he's leaving, he gets to see her breasts.
Yeah, she's like,
She's
would
like,
you,
huh.
she says, would you settle for a PG-13?
He's
Is what
like,
she
huh?
says. And then she shows her tits, and he's like, he calls her a tease or something like that. I don't know.
The next day at Woodsboro High School, there are cops and reporters everywhere, including Courtney Cox and
Who plays
Kenny.
Gail Weathers.
Kenny, her sidekick.
Also, Linda Blair is there.
Linda Blair's
Maybe
there?
she's there in the next scene. She makes a cameo in the movie as
She's
a
side
reporter. Yeah, she's a reporter.
Weird. So Tatum, Rose McGowan, she is talking to Nev about
Sydney.
what happened to Sydney. And then we see
No, she's talking to about what happened to Casey, and she
Casey.
almost says
Sydney.
Dewey, her brother Dewey is the
is
cop.
the cop.
And
Doofy.
she says Dewey.
Doofy's awesome.
She says Dewey said it's about as bad as. Well, it's bad, and what she means to say is it's
As the
almost
mom.
it's as bad as when your mom got murdered last year.
Maybe they're related crimes. We see that Fonzarelli himself is the principal, Henry Winkler.
Yeah, he says he immediately comes out and goes, "Hey!"
And Nev,
he does
Nev
that.
has to go to the principal's office and talk to the cops.
He does wear a leather
And we see
jacket
that-
through the whole movie, which is kind of
It took
weird.
me a
There
second.
is a leather
He
jacket
doesn't
in the
say
closet,
"Hey,"
though.
but
There is
yeah.
a leather jacket in the closet. Like his,
Oh, yeah,
it's like
yeah.
Fonzie.
Do you know his name? Something Fonzarelli. Vincent Fonzarelli? What's
Henry?
his first name?
I don't know.
The Fonz has a first name.
I'm sure he does.
He's like, tells people not to call him that.
Like, inside of a desk in his office, he has a motorcycle. So
No one calls me Benjamin. That's just a bad guess. That's not Fonzie's
I'm gonna
name.
find out.
Howard?
It
Is
could
it
be that.
Jim?
No, Ron Howard's in the show.
Oh, yeah, that's probably what I was thinking about.
Ron Howard is in Scream.
No, he's in Happy Days. Arthur.
Arthur. Nobody calls him
Fonzie Fonzarelli.
Arthur Fonzarelli himself. Looking good. Silver Fox.
Yeah.
Fonz.
I mean, this was 1996, so
So we got the 5 kids. It's Billy, Randy, Stu, Tatum, and Sydney. They're all hanging out at the
and
fountain.
Stu and Tatum are dating, and Billy and Sid are dating, and Randy's just like
And the first
fifth
time I
wheel.
saw this in 2020, I didn't know really what was going on. But this time, the first rewatch I've ever had of it, there's some really sinister looks between Billy and
when
Stu.
they're talking, when he's
It's
like,
like once you know, if you go back and look
when
at it, it's like,
when
oh, they're
Billy
like,
sits up
those
and
are
he's like,
guilty eyes.
when he's like, yeah, how would you know?
Yeah.
Like-
I think maybe Stu was like giving too much
He
information.
was. He was like, I heard they found her liver
Oh,
in
liver
her
in
mouth.
Yeah, like stuff only the killers would do.
Liver alone.
Yeah, they're the killers.
Yep.
Spoiler. Big spoiler there, Stu and Billy.
Did you just say make spoilers?
Yeah. It's like it was like we were watching Superbad, and it was like
I'm
Mick
spoiling
Levin.
it.
Dude, everybody knows this movie.
Da, 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 da.
Get back to narrating.
Okay, I'll just narrate.
So Randy's the guy that knows everything about horror movies.
Yeah.
He's
nerdy
the Barney of Evil
friend.
Laugh of this movie.
So, next
What's
thing you
his
know,
name? Jamie
Nev,
what?
Sydney's getting home from the bus.
Jimmy. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, she rides a bus.
She rides
you
a
think
bus.
this? Okay, I highly doubt that on her way to school, since she rides the bus, no one had been talking about these murders. So like, she just finds out from Tatum when she gets to school. Like, no one would have been talking about it on the bus.
She turns on the television and
it's it starts talking about her mom.
channels.
It starts talking about her mom on all the different channels, being like, "It's they haven't seen a crime scene this bad since Maureen Prescott last year," and they talk about how Cotton Weary is still in jail for the murder of Maureen Prescott because Sydney saw Cotton. Or she says she saw Cotton leaving with his coat. And Gail, who wrote a book about how she doesn't think Cotton's the killer, she said, no, you saw someone leaving with the coat, framing Cotton. So that's a secondary plot line of this whole movie.
The name Cotton Weary.
And I love Liev Schreiber, so...
Wait, who the fuck's Liev Schreiber?
He plays Cotton Weary.
Is he Cotton Weary in this movie?
Yes.
And he plays a strong role in the second movie, Mike.
He's in the second and third one, too. He dies in the third one. I'll show you.
He's wrongfully accused.
I don't remember. So she takes a nap on the couch. And
he's big in the second one.
There's a pretty sundown.
This guy.
I don't remember him.
You
see him in this movie?
Yeah, you see him like on TV and stuff.
On television. Yeah. Oh.
I think, do you not see him in real life at any point?
I don't think
because he doesn't get avenged until he's big in the second one though.
No, you see him like briefly on on
TV. In the second one though, he's a big character.
Well, he's like being prosecuted or whatever.
In the second one, he's a red herring because he keeps on wanting her to be on like on Diane Sawyer and stuff.
Is Wes Craven to do the second one?
Yes, he did all of them except for the last one that came out because he was dead.
Yeah, yes, he did all of them.
He did the first 4.
Gotcha. So she takes a nap on the couch.
So he didn't do 5 or the last one that came out. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Because he's dead.
Yep.
Tatum calls and they're talking about bullshit. And
he woulda.
When they hang up, Ghostface calls and she thinks it's going to be Tatum being, but no, it's Ghostface.
Yeah, she goes Tatum because first Tatum calls and she's like, "I'm going to run by the video store and get all the right moves because if you pause at the right point, you can see Tom Cruise's penis." And she's like, "Just hurry, okay?" And so she hangs up and then it calls again. She's like, "Tatum, just," and then she gets cut off by the voice.
Hey, bitch.
And first she thinks it's Randy, and she's like, "I like what you're doing with your voice, Randy. It's sexy."
Except I'm not Randy.
And then she does the thing where she goes outside, and she's like, "Well, if you can see me right now, then what am I doing?" And she like puts her finger in her nose. She's like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah, she's picking her nose, and he just comes out of nowhere. And she goes up in her room,
which is funny because earlier in the movie she says she doesn't like horror movies. In the conversation she has with the guy on the phone, she says that she hates horror movies because it's always some big-haired bimbo who's running up the stairs when she should be running out the door. It's insulting. Except for in this scene, she ends up running up the stairs because it's the only way for her to get away.
And boy, is she bouncy.
Not really.
I was just kidding.
But she does this thing with her doors when she goes in her room so like he can't get in. Like she gets the closet door and her like room door to like hit where the knobs hit each other.
And they're on the phone. So
and she calls the she calls 911 through MS-DOS. Yeah.
And when the killer Ghostface sees that, he like disappears and Billy immediately
shows up in the window.
But faster than somebody could like get around.
Yeah, well, we'll find out why later.
But he drops a cell phone.
Clarissa explains it all.
But no one had a cell phone back then. So,
except rich people. Except
for like his dad. Well, it was his dad. So
she freaks out.
Yeah,
she's
when
like,
she
Billy's
drops,
the fucking killer, or the
and then she goes downstairs and opens the front door, and there's a ghost face mask. But David Arquette's behind her, and he's like screams just as loud as she does.
They arrest Billy. Tatum shows up, and this is when I figured out that hey, that's Dewey's sister. And of course, Gail shows up. Then that's Courtney Cox,
and she's her relationship with her cameraman is hilarious.
Yeah, I like Kenny.
She's like, when I say, "Come on," that means move your fat tub of lard ass now.
So the dad is.
But that dude's been in everything, man.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
The dad's gone missing. Dewey can't find her dad at the hotel.
They're like, "Are you sure this is the hotel?" And she's like, "Yeah." And you know it is because it's the same hotel from the beginning.
And then we see the sheriff questioning Billy and his dad.
Except for he's weirdly staring at
he's fucking just
Sid.
staring a hole through Sydney.
Yeah.
And
the guy, though, the dad's like, "Why did you leave the house?" But also check the phone records
right
of the cell phone. And they're like, "Well, we intend on doing that."
Fine-ass Tatum shows up, and we find out that the costume is untrackable because it's sold everywhere, and Sydney is going to leave out the back with Tatum and Dewey, but she is approached by Courtney Cox and ends up punching her.
Love that.
She turns around and she says, "Oh, when's your book coming out?" And Gail dumbly thinks that she's like asking for real because it's about how she thinks Sydney pointed at the wrong fucking person who murdered her mom, and she's like, "I'll send you a copy," and then she fucking just punches her in the face.
So then
they're in bed because Tatum's like, "Bam, bitch went down."
Yeah,
bam, Sid, super bitch.
Tatum's cool.
Yeah. And then she gets a phone call.
Yeah. The mom comes in and is like, "There's a call for you, Sydney." And it's not her dad. It's Ghostface. And flag raising. Oh, it skips to the next morning.
Well, so you know it couldn't be. At that point it couldn't be It couldn't be Billy because he's been in jail all night.
Unless he used his call.
Oh, no, because he would have to have his voice thing. So it's the other killer.
Good point.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
Good point. He couldn't have been Billy calling from the station because he didn't have the shit on him. So it's the next morning, Red Right Hand by my man Nick Cave's playing. I'm thinking about going to see him in September. If you guys
you already asked us if we wanted to go. We said no.
Tell everybody where you're seeing him.
I think it was Asheville or something.
Harrah's Casino.
Those were Nick Cave's playing. Harrah's.
He's also playing like the Ryman and stuff, but I think it's like it's a solo tour. It's just him without the band.
Yeah. I didn't think it was at the birthday
Just
cake or whatever. What band is it? The birthday cake.
Birthday party. Dude, the band rules.
The birthday cake.
Birthday party rules.
That's a different band.
I don't care.
Bad seats.
I want some ice cream now.
But okay, Mike.
So we see
which
the morning
date of the
news
tour
about
you gonna see?
We're at Tatum's breakfast.
Next month.
Dewey says that Billy has been released because the phone call didn't come from there or something.
Yeah.
And Dewey just takes them to
Also, she got a phone call from the killer when he was in jail, so they are like, it's not him.
So
Sydney, he's at school, so he decided to go to school. Gail. I think I would take the day off from school. He takes him to school.
But Sydney sees Gail outside the school, and she goes to talk to him, and she's like, "Hey, bitch, don't hit me again." But they have a conversation, because I think Sydney is thinking, "Oh, it's Billy."
No, at that point, Gail says it too. She's like, that's when they have the conversation about Cotton Weary and how she says that you saw someone with that jacket. I don't think it was Cotton. I think someone was framing him, and then she could tell that she can tell that Sydney is like, she's like, you're starting to have doubts. So then Sydney walks away.
She doesn't punch her. She goes into the school and is hanging out with Stu and Tatum, but then this prankster in a Ghostface mask comes running down the hall. She gets upset and bumps into Billy. Oh.
Stu also is really excited. Like, he's having fun with all this. He's like, hey, it's like Christmas in here. Like, because everyone's like partying in the hallways, I guess, or something. Oh, yeah.
And when Sydney and Billy are talking, we find out 1 year tomorrow since the mom was killed.
Yeah, we find out that Billy's mom he's like, I know when my mom left our family, because his mom had left them, and she's like, your mother left town, she isn't lying in a grave somewhere. And then he's like, stupid, and hits his head.
Bad analogy.
And in the second Scream, he's played by, which Wilson is it that has brown hair?
Luke.
Yeah, he plays that character. He's like, stupid. It's his head, like
Doofy.
In the Stab movie. And Tori Spelling plays her.
So we see the Fawns cutting up some Ghostface masks, and he expels 2 guys, and like it's really red herring-y with those scissors. Yeah. It's like, oh shit, he's fucked. And Sydney goes to the bathroom, and then she overhears 2 girls taking shits. One of those
girls was a Skeet Ulrich's girlfriend at the time.
She's crazy. They call her mom a slut, and
they're like talking about how it could be her, and they're like, "Where do you hear this shit?" And she's like, "Ricky Lake," because Ricky Lake was popular then.
Dude, Ricky Lake should always be.
Ricky Lake was awesome. Was an awesome talk show.
She's great in
Hairspray,
Crybaby.
man.
I'm just saying that. No, the
Hairspray,
Ricky Lake
like-
show is what they're talking about,
Oh,
and that
dude.
show fucking ruled.
Yeah, fuck it, man.
All those fucking talk shows: Jenny Jones, Ricky Lake,
Sally Jesse.
Sally Jesse Raphael, Phil Donahue.
Phil Donahue.
That guy that was English. There was like an English guy.
British.
And he might have been, but he might have been Australian.
Guy something. Wait, I know who you're talking about. He's
Yeah,
like the boss on Drew Carey or something.
I think so. But he like had a talk show. What's one of those like teens? I loved it when there was like bad teens.
So
Anyway,
finally,
Geraldo.
that Geraldo.
finally, homegirl.
That's how they found the guy for Gummo, the guy that's friends with the really ugly kid. He was like on an episode of Sally
He's not
Jesse
ugly. He just
Raphael.
eats spaghetti in the bath.
Yeah, okay, well, his friend. They found him on Sally Jesse Raphael because he was like addicted to sniffing glue.
Aren't we?
We
all?
gotta get this kid back.
You were just
Yeah.
huffing duster.
I wasn't actually.
Just a gimmick. It's a bit.
I was just spraying it around the.
It had to be taken away from her.
So Sydney finally comes out of the stall and she's checking the other stalls. And somebody whispers Sydney.
I don't care.
And we see slowly
I
Ghostface's
killed my
feet.
brain with much more than that.
Ghostface's feet come down from one of the turlets. He's been there the whole time. And
The commodes.
we see she runs away. And fucking Gail and Dewey are kind of flirting about the Sharon Stone stalker. I had to make a note about that.
Well, he says he's like.
This is not the only time they mention Sharon Stone in this fucking movie.
No, it isn't.
Which is kind
Because
of
at
weird.
the end, she says, "Let's
Couldn't
face it. Your mom's no Sharon Stone."
So couldn't they have picked two pretty '90s actresses?
No, because they wanted to use the Basic Instinct thing.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's part of the sequels or something.
It's not.
So
but...
the Fonz cancels class and the police instate a 9 p.m. curfew, but Stu is going to have a party. And then we get this crazy shit where Fonzie is wearing the mask. And the first time I saw it, I was like...
He likes it.
See, this is one of those movies like I knew the story before I saw it.
Yeah.
You know, I think I would have liked this movie more if the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, is the Fonzie the killer? He's about
I think
to
you
get
would have
killed.
liked it more if you saw it in 1996.
Yeah, probably. Or 98.
Why
Or if
98?
you
Or any
ever had
Why
any kind of
98?
childhood that was as
2004.
wonderful as
Like, I waited until
experience in
2020 to watch this movie.
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Like,
Stupid.
sometimes I probably could.
Oh, no,
Somebody's
no,
like,
no,
let's watch that. And I'm
stupid.
like,
No, I said
no.
it's a,
Misinformed.
I said it's a stupid decision.
I just,
Hey,
I've been burned by a 90s
inside.
horror. I don't.
You've
like
never
it that-
seen any of it.
70s, 80s,
Oh, it's the
foreign.
same thing of, like,
there's just so
being
much
like
stuff to
men-
watch.
No, he said he didn't like Scream because it spawned all those like
It
I
was
know he
me
didn't
being
like
like-
Summer, but then he had never seen them.
No, he said it was because his little sister was into it. Did your little
Yeah,
sister
there's-
like Spice
there's
Girls?
She did.
Mine did too. Okay, so do you now like,
like
the Spice
Harry
Girls?
Potter?
Because I do. And I kind of did it back then, but I hated that part of me.
Yeah.
Like,
But a couple weeks ago, we did like Don't Go in That House.
Can you accept part of you that you-
can bring
the
this? I
pace-
swear, this I swear.
When Two Become One is a pretty cool
When Two
song.
Become One is a fucking jam.
Yeah, dude.
Be a little bit wiser, baby.
Yeah, dude.
Put it on, 'cause tonight is the night when two become one.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty
Need
bad.
some love, I
Like,
can never need
Mike-
enough. It's time I put it on a condom, 'cause they're about to fuck.
Yeah.
They are.
Shut it down.
So the
About
Fonz.
fuck.
Fonz.
Everybody get out.
Two become one. Wear a condom.
Give them some privacy.
Protect yourself.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the
Oh,
good
yeah.
things and the
Bad
bad things
things.
life can be.
Oh, it's
Let's
a
talk about
CNC
sex.
Music Factory. Who is that?
No,
Let's
that was
talk-
Salt and Pepper.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. That
Let's
was,
talk about sex and Salt and Pepper.
Is,
Within
Yes.
Vogue?
Yes.
Yeah, Within Vogue.
I don't know, but then TLC always wore those outfits with condoms on them for a while.
Do you guys know at the fair this year there's going to be Travis Tritt and T-Pain? Not at the same time.
Oh my God,
what they've
I want to
announced
see
so far.
T-Pain so bad.
T-Pain at the Tennessee Valley
Oh,
Fair.
hell
it's
yeah.
gonna be funny when they play the same show, just two different
I
nights.
saw him covering War Pigs and it was kind of awesome.
T-Pain?
Travis
T-Pain.
Tritt covered Black Sabbath.
Travis
No,
Tritt hates Bud
T-Pain.
Light.
I remember
Travis Tritt hates Bud
I
Light.
saw a video of I was watching a video, like some music video over T-Pain, like back in the day, and the first comment that was on YouTube was, "I would suck T-Pain's dick," and I was like, okay, why is the top hat on, like all the time?
There's a lot of dicks out there to suck.
With the auto-tune.
I mean, yeah, you gotta put the auto-tune on that penis.
How many variations?
A lot of top hats. They're all sequins differently.
There's sequins on dicks.
Sequined. Maybe the top. He probably has top hats for
T-Pain
it.
has sequins on his dick.
He probably has top
One
hats
for
for
each
them.
dick.
All right,
Yeah.
let's finish Scream.
Do you think
Yeah.
his dick has a little dick top hat?
Yeah, I do.
It's
I think it's more than
auto-tuned
one.
for sure.
So,
If he's one of those lame people that uses condoms.
Fonzie's in the ghost face mask, and he hears somebody knock and gets scared, and he looks out there, and it's just Fred the janitor.
Who's
it's
played
like-
by Wes Craven.
It looks like Freddy Krueger.
And it looks like Freddy Krueger.
without the burns. And then he goes back in. Oh, and Ghostface stabs him. No, and it's cool because you see Ghostface face and his dead eye. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
And then-
that death was added in because I think it was Bob Weinstein, not
There's only 9
not
kills
Harvey.
in this.
But Bob Weinstein told him
How
that
many
there
people died in
was
this?
too much going on where there wasn't a death, so they added Henry Winkler's death in post. There are 7
Then we hear Alice Cooper's school's out because school's been called
7
out.
deaths, by the way.
And
were
Tatum and Stu are on a porch. Or Tatum and Sydney, I'm sorry. They're talking. Somebody's watching them. And they talk about Richard Gere's gerbil controversy. Then Stu and Roger. what's his name? Randy. Stu and Randy are arguing in the video store. And I wrote RRHDT and S at the station.
What?
They're at the police station. And the
Who?
sheriff and Dewey, said the calls came from the dad's phone. Sydney's dad's phone. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, so they think Sydney's dad's the killer
Yeah,
at one
he's-
point. I forgot about that.
He's like the main suspect.
Well, he's missing the whole time.
So, and the sheriff's like, you stay with Tatum. I'm like, oh, shit. No, Sydney. Stay with your sister. No, stay with your sister's friend. So Dewey takes Tatum and Sydney to the party. And
No, he doesn't, does he? I
yeah,
thought they snuck out.
he takes them to the party.
Oh, okay.
And because then
They be sneaking.
they would have been more of a confrontation on his end
I'll
when
sneak
him
with
and
you.
Gail show up a little bit later. But there's a dude doing a beer bong.
His name's Arthur in the movie too. The principal,
Courtney Cox is snooping.
just like in Happy Days.
Dewey's like, what are you doing around
These
here?
happy days are yours and mine.
And he asked her to go to the party with him. Is this Dewey's first date? Doofy.
Okay, that's from Scary Movie, but
She sneaks a camera in and plants it in the living room, but there's like a 30-second delay. I wrote down nips because Rose McGowan is a goddess.
oh yeah, her headlight beams are on the whole time.
She's going to get some beer from the basement.
What am I, the beer winch?
And she leaves the door open, but it shuts on its own. Maybe it's the ghost.
From the
From the
Scream
ghost
1981.
Is this the ghost town? Stuff falls over, but it's just the cat jump scare. You
This
gotta
scene
have.
is a lot like a scene in Evil Laugh where this girl is like, okay, all right, I'm going to pretend to be dead. Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me. It's just
and
like
she's
this.
a badass. She's like kicking his ass. She does the refrigerator thing, but she's locked in. The lights go out. It's Ghostface, and she's kind of
This is
flirting
one of
with
the
him
best kills
because
in the movie.
she thinks it's somebody. She think it's Stu. He probably has been. This is Stu's girlfriend. He's probably been dressing in that shit around her for a while. And I said party foul because he makes her drop all the beer. And nice fridge slam. She's throwing fucking full beers at him. That's good offense, you know. Best defense is good offense sometimes.
How did any party like this?
And
not
she's trying to
get
get out the cat door, and she gets stuck when Ghostface, that dastardly devil, he turns on the garage door opener, and I think it snaps her neck. And,
I mean, it cuts her.
he just goes back to the party.
I was telling him, though, that apparently Rose McGowan was so skinny that they had to, like, pin her to the inside of the door because she kept falling out of the door of like that really small. And that thing is fucking tiny.
Yeah.
You have to be fucking like.
Dude, my head would barely go through.
I know, mine too.
So.
You gotta be Karen Carpenter.
Those titties alone, I can't imagine how they like were fitting through that.
What tits?
Rose McGowan's in the
I was
movie.
talking about Karen.
Oh well, Karen would easily fit.
So Ghostface just goes back to the party, you know? And it seems like people are leaving, and then Billy shows up, and there's still people there. I was kind of confused. That happens a couple of times. And
Yeah, well, because people don't leave all at once. It's because they've all found out that... Have they...
Not yet.
They haven't found out that he's stuck to the... Okay, well, people are always coming in and out of a party,
So Gail's with Kenny in the truck watching the party when Sydney and Billy decide they're going to go talk on the bed. And Billy's like, maybe it is all a movie. And she's like, let's make it a porno. And he's like, what? She's going to give it up.
We don't see any tits in this movie, though.
And this is about, no, dang it. And
That's why he doesn't like it.
This is when the kids...
There's no tits.
Well, it's real cute because they're watching Halloween and
Downstairs.
Randy,
his name's Randy,
Randy
Mike.
talks about the rules of horror survival: no sex, no drinking and drugs, and never say "I'll be right back." And Stu's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get some beer. I'll be right back." And
Matthew Lillard really gets on my nerves usually, but I like him in this movie.
same. He was all right in
I don't like him in SLC Punk.
Scooby-Doo.
Defining role, man.
Ruby.
And SLC Punk?
No, this one.
Oh, yeah. Get a little woozy here.
But he does.
Yeah, exactly. I mean...
My mom and dad are going to be so mad at me.
Do
That
we
was
get
improv.
a...
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no. Dewey scares some folks, and they get to... Oh, he scares Gail. I almost called her Gwen. He scares Gail and Kenny, and he takes Gail
Kenny's
to check
her
out...
cameraman, by the way. I don't
Kenny-
think he's really...
I
ever
wrote
said that.
Cammy the first couple times. But they go to check out a weird car that Dewey got a report about. And there's more people leaving
And
the
it's,
party.
by the way, it's Sid's dad's car.
We got Sydney. I'm sorry. Yeah. So there's this cool thing where they don't show PJ Souls' tits, but he's like the obligatory titty scene. And it cuts to like Skeet's head covering up Nev Campbell's tits around the same time. I thought it was pretty cool. And the phone rings. Oh no. They find out the principal's dead. Ponzarelli, you live forever in
But
our
they're all
hearts.
excited. He's a...
The friends are like, let's go check it out.
He's hung
hanging
from a goalpost.
Goalpost, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, these kids like file out of there and get in their cars and just like almost
They're
run
going
people
to like
over.
tailgate at this like
Murder
death.
scene.
Yeah.
So they almost hit Gail and Dewey, who are going to investigate the car, and it knocks them. They're already kind of flirting, but they
But
get
it knocks
knocked
them
into a compromising situation, and they kiss.
Lord, it's called love.
They kiss, but he's like,
Well, they did fall in love on this movie, so...
I can't do this while I'm on duty. And there was some chemistry there. I can see it. And
Dude is on
Courtney
duty.
Cox is like,
In the newest
that
movie,
car?
when
Is
they
that car what you're
filmed
looking
their
for?
first scene together, was the
I
first time
can't
they had
do
seen
this.
each other since they got a divorce, and it was like they had to do it twice because their first scene was like
They
for each
cry.
other. Yeah.
I can't do this because
sweeties.
I'm covered in duty.
They find the car, and it's Neil Prescott's car.
And he's still
Did I say his
in
name right?
duty.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's Cindy's dad.
So they run back because they think that Neil Prescott is the killer, possibly. He's there
He's gone crazy because
slice up some kids. So we
the
see
wife or whatever.
a very unhappy looking Billy and Sydney getting dressed at this point. I'm guessing either she closed her legs at the last second,
No, I
or he
think
was
it-
just a
they
jackrabbit.
I think they
No,
just
they
finished.
fucked.
They did fuck, yeah.
It didn't look like it really rocked her world.
No, I think she wanted to just get it over with.
Well,
She's
she
putting
broke
her
the
clothes pretty
rule.
fine, like pretty fast, and like like
She asked who Billy
they're in
called
high school, man.
from the police station.
Yeah, she asked who his one phone call was.
And you can tell he's lying because he looks really guilty. He's being creepy. And Ghostface jumps in there and just stabs Billy. and chases Sydney to the attic. And she kind of like climbs out a window, and he tries to grab her, and she falls on this boat.
Which, by the way, that scene where he gets stabbed, it's fake.
Yeah, it's
but
fake.
One of the stabs, it was supposed to like hit this certain place on him, but it accidentally, apparently, like Skeet Ulrich had some heart surgery when he was really young, and he has a metal plate in his chest. Ooh. And anytime anything like hits it, it causes like extreme pain.
Yeah, I was like, he's selling it.
His reaction is real, like because it hit like whatever. It's like an umbrella, I think. No, it's an umbrella that he used.
Umbrella's later.
Okay, well, whatever he hits him with,
that's amazing method acting that he used that plate.
He used his pain to show pain.
Well, he didn't. It was on accident, but yeah.
Up until that role.
Anyway,
which you know, Skeet Ulrich is one of the great American actors.
She falls onto the boat, and at first I think Ghostface thinks she's dead, and she rolls off the boat and sees Tatum. And it's a pretty cool shot of Tatum's crushed neck and mangled arm.
In the garage door.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We see Randy still watching Halloween,
and Rose McGowan is still in that garage door.
Rookies, come on down,
Jawbreaker.
And Randy's about to get stabbed, and the movie's like, behind you.
Well,
look behind you.
Kenny can see it happening, and he's like, "Oh my God, that's about to happen!" But then he remembers the 30-second delay, and so when he turns around, he gets stabbed.
Well, he gets scared by. She runs. Yeah.
It's the 30. He's like trying to tell Randy that he's about to get killed, but he remembers the 30-second delay, and then when he turns around, then Ghostface is there and kills him.
Yeah, he sees the open door, and we see that Sydney actually gets stabbed, like in the shoulder or arm area. Yeah. And she runs. Who wouldn't? But she runs to a barn, and Dewey. Wait, a barn? It's a fucking house.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Gail and Dewey get back. Dewey goes in the house, and he gets scared by Halloween. And then I really like how they matched this. There's a certain part in the sound design of Halloween where it was just working with everything that was happening in Scream. That was cool. And the TV, scares the shit out of him. Somebody screams. He's like, "Ooh!" And Gail can't find Kenny. She sees all this fucking blood everywhere. She tries to call 911. And I think Matthew Lillard comes up and is like, "Hey, what's going on?"
No,
she hits him with a phone.
One of them tries to, I think she tries to drive the car and, does it. Kenny's
on the roof and his blood's all over the windshield. And she sees Sydney in the road, and she almost hits her, and by missing her, ends up wrecking the car. The killers think she's dead. But Sydney ends up finding Dewey at the house, but it's right at the moment where he's getting stabbed in the back.
Well, she was supposed to die, but they made another ending where he was alive, and then they ended up everyone liked him so much they kept him alive.
Ghostface traps Sydney in Dewey's car, and Ghostface shows he has the keys, bitch.
I thought it was in the...
So she starts getting on the radio, and she doesn't see it, but the viewer sees the back door of his Jeep open. And she's on the radio talking about what's happening, but gets attacked again. She goes to the house. She gets Dewey's gun. And...
Did she already go up on the roof and fall onto the boat?
Dude, yeah.
Okay, good. I was hoping that we had missed that.
So we're at her with Dewey's gun.
We're at the end of the movie.
Stu and Randy are both like, "That motherfucker stabbed me. He's crazy." It was, yeah.
Yeah, both. Yeah.
That's smart. That's smart by Stu. That's a good gag.
And so she doesn't know who to shoot. She's sitting there with a gun. She's keeps shooting at him.
So she's like, "Fuck it." She goes inside, locks herself in. But then we see Billy stumbling down the stairs, and she helps him, gives him the fucking gun, and he lets Randy in, and then just shoots the motherfucker. And this is where we get the reveal that there was corn syrup. They were using the voice box. Stu comes in. They reveal they're the ones that killed the mom. Do you think your mom wanted to die? One of the best
reveals ever.
Yeah, no, he's first they say that they're scary movies don't. First they say the motive was horror movies, and they say horror movies don't make people commit murder. They make murderers more creative. And then Billy says, how's this for a motive? Your whore of a mother slept with my father, and that's why my mom left.
Yeah.
And
So he's
then
gonna
also,
introduce-
you know, clearly Stu was the beta, but he had also dated Casey Becker, so there was his like whatever
Motive.
motive
Yeah, they say they have no
whatever.
motives and then immediately explain their motives.
Yeah.
So they're gonna. They
Oh my
bring out
God,
the
Billy
dad.
Loomis is so hot right here though. Like when he's like,
They're both
being
really good
all-
at
when he's
acting
being-
unhinged. Like they're.
yeah, because
They're
they do
fucking
that. They do
crazy.
this
What
thing
if-
where they're like, "Well, we're gonna kill you," and then they bring the hair. Okay,
bring
they
the
bring the
dad
dad
in.
out. They're
They're
like,
gonna
"We're
frame
gonna
it all
kill.
on him.
We're gonna kill. We're gonna, you know, kill y'all."
I like how they just pull him out of a closet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's all like gag tied and like, yeah, he's been up there for like who knows how long.
Yeah, they
Well, it's
think-
only
they
been like a
think
day
Gail
and a
and
half.
Randy are
These are like
dead.
2 days.
So they're like, we're gonna kill you, then shoot him in the head.
the
Like it's,
movie takes
he's
place
in
over
suicide.
like a school week.
No, I think it's just a couple days.
Well, a lot of the shit happened during the
The party.
last half of Halloween.
If this movie took place
The party
over a
is
couple
40
days,
the
I
par-
guess
the
it
party
could
is
be
42
It
minutes.
could be a cold weekend.
The party scene is 42 minutes long.
Then these kids are the coolest kids.
Out of
they're
an hour and
watching
42.
Halloween.
I mean, it's
And that's just
the most
playing.
of this movie is at the party. So it could have only been like they cancel school for the rest of the week. So it could have only been like 2 days of the school week.
So Ghostface works fast.
Yeah.
So they're gonna frame it on her dad, and Billy's. They take turns stabbing each other because they're gonna be the only ones left alive, but they need it to look like they were left for dead.
They need
So they're
somebody else
stabbing the
to
fuck
do
out of
the
each other.
exposition.
Billy stabs Stu too deep, and so Stu has these really hilarious improv moments where he's like,
does.
he's like, I'm feeling a little woozy over here. You stabbed me too deep. I think I'm dying, man. And he's like,
then-
my mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me.
They find out that the gun's missing.
Oh, and
And
he goes,
Gail
what does he
has
say?
it.
We have a problem. He's like, Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, the gun's missing, so Gail has it. She's not dead.
But Billy takes it from her because she had the safety on. Oops.
Okay.
She's not blonde, but that's what they used to call a blonde moment back in the 80s.
I don't think the safety not be anyway.
Well, she's not a Boy Scout or something. So
Okay.
after they take care of Gail, it's like, oh, we got another fucking problem. I love
And because the dad's missing now,
the
and
dad
Sydney.
and Sydney
Yeah.
are missing, and then the phone rings, and the voice box, kind of wimpy voice box, but
It's Sydney.
It's Sydney, and she called the cops. Stu's getting pretty weak from all this blood loss, and Ghostface ends up stabbing Billy. Oh, it's
You mean
Sandy
Ghostface.
It's Sydney
It's
Ghostface.
Sydney.
She has it on at
Sydney
first.
Ghostface.
Sydney stabs Billy a couple times with an umbrella. She should have stabbed him more.
But she stabs Stu.
She judo flips him.
She
And, like,
crushes his head with the TV.
that kills him, right?
Yeah.
What would you know? Did you see what was on the TV?
Probably Halloween still.
Probably still Halloween,
But
Randy's still alive. Hey,
and then
yay.
Billy gets stabbed a bunch. But then we realize
Billy.
Gail is still alive too.
Right.
Gail and Randy are like all staying in there, and then they say something. One of them, I think Randy says something like,
He's like, this is where the killer comes back to life.
Exactly.
"Yeah," and he does.
And Gail shoots him in the fucking head.
As soon as he gets up,
Jimmy
they
Whiz.
stab him in the, or shoot him in the head.
She shoots him in the head, and we see Dewey still alive, getting put on an ambulance, and along with Sydney, Gail, and Randy, they all survive.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like her newscast. Gail's on the news, talking about the new events that happened in Woodsboro.
I wonder who the cameraman was for that scene.
She replaced Kenny.
Yeah, she had to have.
Kenny.
I liked him a lot. He was one of my favorite characters. Okay, kill count 1.
Kill count,
Stephen
kill count.
Orth. He's gutted by Stu
Stephen
Mocker.
Dorff died in
I'm
this
going to tell
movie?
you who did each one of these
Stephen
two.
Dorff.
He's gutted by Stu Mocker 8 minutes in. Casey Becker stabbed a ton, gutted, and hung from a tree by Billy Loomis. You can tell the difference because when it's Billy, he usually will do something like grab their throats. And also, I think it's Stu will always use 2 hands when he's stabbing.
Okay.
Number 3 is Arthur Hembry, that's the Fonz. Stabbed, gutted, and hung from a goalpost by Billy Loomis at 53 minutes. 4 is Tatum Riley. Her head is crushed in the garage door by Billy Loomis an hour and 7 minutes in. Kenny Brown is number 5. Sorry, his throat slit by Stu Macher, an hour and 23 minutes. Number 6 is Stu Macher, who stabbed a bunch. Head is crushed and electrocuted by TVs by Sidney Prescott, an hour and 40 minutes in. And then Billy Loomis is stabbed and shot in the head by Sidney Prescott and Gail. So he's stabbed by Sidney, shot by Gail, right? Or is it Sidney that shoots him in the head?
No, it's Gail.
Okay. She does the shooting at the end of the second one. So, okay, trivia. The party scene near the end of the film runs 42 minutes long. It was shot over the course of 21 days from the time the sun set to the time it rose. After it wrapped, the crew had t-shirts made that read, "I survived scene 118," which was the name of the scene during the shooting, obviously. The cast and crew jokingly called it the longest night in horror history. The high school scenes, I'm not going to do every single piece of trivia on this movie, by the way. I'm just going to read some stuff that I hadn't read before because, there's a lot about this movie. The high school scenes were to be shot at Santa Rosa High School in California. However, very close to the shooting date, the school board read the script and denied the film to be shot there due to the violent nature, as they had been under the impression the film was a comedy, and production was moved to Healdsburg, California. As payback, director Wes Craven put in the end credits under the special thanks section, "No thanks whatsoever to the Santa Rosa City School District Governing Board."
Word.
The use of caller ID increased more than threefold after the release of this film. During production, Ghostface's signature black robe was going to be white to make him appear even more like a ghost. However, this was changed in fear of people comparing the costume to the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah. The film was released in December, 5 days before Christmas.
They're called Porkies up in here.
Yeah, I know. The film was released in December, 5 days before Christmas. The studio did this because during the holiday season, family-friendly movies are usually released, and the studio wanted to give the horror audience something to see during a time when no horror movies would be out. It opened at number 4 with $6.4 million, which led the studio to believe that the film had flopped. However, the film's good word of mouth is what led to its success at the box office. With every week it went up or stayed at the same place in the box office. By the end of its run, it ended up making over $100 million in the U.S. box office. Neve Campbell was originally going to say no to the film as she is especially afraid of horror movies, but when hearing her co-star Skeet Ulrich from The Craft was going to appear, she agreed.
She's good at it.
Joaquin Phoenix turned down the role of Billy Loomis.
Good.
Marco Beltrami.
Are y'all going to watch Beau is Afraid?
No.
It's the new Ari Aster movie.
No, I don't like Ari Aster. And I hated Hereditary and Midsommar. So.
Oh, well.
Marco Beltrami, he's the guy that did the music. Decided to intentionally disregard conventional horror score styles. He approached the film as a Western, taking influences from Ennio Morricone.
Reminds me of the other Scream.
The house where the film's third act is set was built by a couple who had died within a month of each other. It was basically abandoned as the couple's children wanted no part of it, so they were easily convinced to rent it out for filming. It's also used in Scream 5. Most of the movies set there. The house where the film's... Leonardo DiCaprio and Holly Marie Combs screen tested it together for the roles of Billy Loomis and Sidney Prescott, which would have been fucking weird to see Leonardo DiCaprio.
Who was the actress?
Holly Marie Combs.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either, but Leonardo DiCaprio, so... the MPAA wanted to cut out the graphic shot of the killer stabbing Casey Becker at the beginning, but director claimed it was the only take of it that they had filmed, which was not true.
Get 'em, Wes.
So that's how the shot was remained intact.
That big Fipper McGee.
Dewey was supposed to die from the stab wound to the back.
Doofy.
Wes Craven filmed the scenes at the end where Dewey is alive and being taken to the hospital just in case he changed his mind about killing Dewey. The screen test audience loved the character so much that Craven decided to add his survival scene in the final cut. If you watch closely during the parts where Gail is knocked out by Billy, you can see that Dewey is not breathing when Gail lands on him because Dewey was intended to be dead. Every time Dewey is shown after he's stabbed before the final scene is intended to be his dead body, not him lying unconscious. So that's the trivia I have. What?
That means that Wes Craven cares. And I know test audiences are a thing, but Wes Craven gives a fuck.
He loves us.
Well, there's a reason
because
for
you
it.
have to film it before before you screen it.
Well, I mean that's why I'm Pretty in Pink. She ends up with Andrew McCarthy. They had to redo that whole ending
If you wanted to hear us
because there was she's supposed to go with Ducky.
if you want to hear us discuss our top 5
and I
Wes
like
Craven
the
movies,
other ending
us up
where
on
Ducky
Patreon.
fucking Yeah.
Oh, I would have
Archive.
been.
He does
I
better.
think she made a mistake because she should have gone with James Spader.
Wait, I'm trying to shout
No.
the Patreon.
Yes.
Y'all are talking about Pretty in Pink again.
You're a bitch.
Ducky's my cat's
What was
name.
that?
Well,
Is that you pretending to be James Spader? He walks around like this.
He lives with my ex now.
You're a bitch.
I miss
You're a
my
bitch.
kitty. I love you, Ducky.
Yeah, he's got a cigarette.
Yeah, he does have a cigarette.
Get
He's
my
like,
lighter
and he
out
after
of
he
your
goes, "You're a
mouth."
bitch." He goes like, "You might need to see a doctor about that because that's getting worse or something like that." He's hilarious.
Well, but he's sitting there like, hold on, like,
You're a bitch.
it's not a
What a
letter,
fucking
but
cat.
It's a cigarette. He has a cigarette in his mouth. Anyway, what do you rate this movie, Nick?
I'm gonna rate it a strong 4. I've always liked it, and yeah.
It's in my top 15 horror movies of all time. I rated a 4.25.
I'm gonna give it a reluctant 3. I liked it way more. I
Mike,
liked it way
I'm glad
more.
that you came around, man.
I liked it a
What did you
lot
give
more.
it before?
I probably given it like a 1.5.
Oh my
Or
god!
probably a 2. You know, it's just like
he gave it a strong
really
nothing. I
good.
mean, a strong talk shit.
it's really good, but I prefer a slightly different style.
No, I remember a strong talk shit.
Yeah, I've talked a bunch of shit about this, and I was pretty wrong.
I was wrong.
I was pretty wrong.
He sounded
Always
No,
pretty.
no, I'm glad you
Sometimes wrong.
you gave it a second watch.
Yeah, I went from
Well, I made
like
him.
a 2 to a 3. Yeah, you put it on the schedule. So.
And I purposely put it after that really shitty scream. So,
Well, I mean, that's a
Hey.
different.
Well,
That's,
that was an
that's a
agenda.
different beast.
well,
This thing is.
We got
a
some of my
vehicle.
favorites coming up, so
well, stay gagged on.
I think the boss is tired.
Stay gagged on Billy Loomis. Ugh, stay gagged on Skeet Ulrich.
Stay gagged
Baby.
on. They don't even eat anything in this fucking movie.
Stay gagged on Janitor
Oh,
Fred.
stay gagged on pancakes and eggs. At Dewey's.
Oh, yeah, they do
Dewey's
eat
mom's
those.
house.
We never talk about staying gagged on food they eat in the movie, Mike.
What about?
Stay gagged on a voice modulator.
Yeah.
Stay gagged on green eggs and Nev.
Stay gagged on
Oh,
The
wait.
Craft. Another movie with Nev Campbell
Mary
and Skeet
Fuck
Ulrich.
Kill, Rose, Nev, and Drew. That's so hard.
Oh,
Tatum.
Mary, Nev.
Yeah, let's.
fuck,
You want to do character?
fuck Drew.
Tatum, Casey, and
No, I'm not.
Sydney.
Fuck,
you guys do
fuck
that.
Tatum killed Sydney, Mary, Casey.
This is so hard. I'm gonna
Do
marry.
Mary, fuck, kill Randy, Billy, and Sue.
Well, first off, on the first one, I'm gonna marry Rose. Fuck Drew. No, I'm gonna marry Sydney. Fuck. I'm getting them all mixed up. I'm gonna marry Nev Campbell. Fuck. Wait, no, I can't do this.
Okay, but
I'm gonna
Mike, you
kill
were the
Drew
one that
Barrymore, but
shouldn't.
the other two are gonna be my sister wives.
Jeez, what?
Okay,
We're moving
well,
to Utah, ladies.
I would kill Stu, fuck Randy,
That was a-
marry
Latter-day Saints.
Billy.
She had it prepared, Mike.
Wait, who
Yeah.
was the third? Randy.
Yeah, I would
I'm
kill
gonna
him.
marry Randy.
Oh, I'd fuck him.
Fuck
I would,
Steve.
I would
Mike,
kill Stu,
Mike, I'm
gonna
marry
s-
Billy.
I'm gonna fuck
See,
Steve.
you proposed the Mary Fuck Kill a lot, but you don't come correct. Emily did.
I answered the Nev
Wait.
Campbell one too.
I did too.
No, you didn't. You said it'd
no,
be too hard.
you froze.
Oh.
You choked.
But Rose and
Sorry, dude.
Rose and Nev. I'm gonna marry Rose.
Okay, cool. Titanic.
You
Stay gagged on all of our social media: Instagram, TikTok, Gag Me with a Knife Podcast, Twitter, Gag Knife Pod. Become a Patreon for member shout outs,
Kill
early
Stu.
access to episodes,
Fuck
Patreon,
Billy and marry Randy because
exclusive
his love of horror
episodes,
is infectious.
and fan requested episodes. We just put out our Wes
Thank you,
Craven.
Patreons.
Well, actually, about 2 months ago, we put out our Wes Craven top 5. So
Yeah, check that shit out.
go to www.patreon.com/Gag Me with the Knife Podcast and buy our merch at gagmewiththeknifepodcast.com. And we'll see you next time for Pieces.
Pieces. I love it.
Bye.
Say a prayer wasted.